Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Joshua, and I'm going to be your presenter today. Well, my computer shows 11:31, but my other devices say 11:29, so we're going to kind of split the difference here and get started. Before we get going on our topic at hand, Manage Years in Church Windows Accounting Part 1. A few technical things. Click the little red arrow on the sidebar of your webinar control panel. That allows you to get that out of the way or minimize that or drag it off to your second desktop. If you have a dual monitor setup, allows you again to get the full visual effect of the presentation. We are recording today's webinar event. It will be produced and released on the Support Center page at our website here sometime in the next 24 hours or so. So you'll be able to revisit that. Our topic today is taken from Accounting Workbook A202, pages 39 to 47. If you don't already have the workbooks, you can purchase those from the Church Windows online store or from the workbooks page on our website. You can download it and print that and follow along with that. The final two pages will be tomorrow on Part 2, pages 48 and 49. We're hoping that you'll be able to join us for that as well. Certainly, I think it's pertinent information in both cases, but either way, both of them will be recorded and out on our website to revisit later. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion of the webinar control panel. I will do my best to keep an eye on those and get those questions answered. I'm pretty good at repeating the questions out loud so everyone understands what's being asked. Please keep the questions on topic, meaning about our Manage Years function in accounting. There may be another webinar event that's better suited to answer other questions you have about the software. Or, of course, please call our technical support staff at 800-533-5227 if you have any specific questions, okay? So let's go ahead and get started here. So we're on page 39 talking about managing years. We're getting, folks, this just ramps up for us between now and the end of January, okay? All kinds of folks are calling us and emailing us with questions about preparing for the new year, end-of-year procedures, in whether it's accounting or donations or membership, it doesn't matter. The bulk of our webinar probably events between now and the end of the year, many of them are probably going to be on end-of-year stuff because, well, that's what folks are calling us about, okay? So nothing is better suited for that or a better topic at this particular point than talking about managing years in Church Windows accounting, okay? And there's a lot of stuff you can do with this. In fact, that's why we broke it up into two events, was because there's a lot of information that we have to pack into two 20-minute sessions here, okay? In fact, I like to mention that on these calls that there is, on these webinars is, I've already opened 2021 for probably a couple dozen users just in the past month or two, okay? Do not hold off and wait to be done with 2020 to open 2021, okay? Church Windows Accounting allows you to work between two different accounting years for as long as you need or want, okay? I'm going to revisit that here momentarily. But what we're talking about is when we go up to special functions at the top, we see this option at the top center, top left, what have you, called Manage Years. Everybody should be able to see my, I've actually gotten pretty good drawn arrows over the years, folks. There's my arrow pointing to Manage Years. So when we click on that, it brings up a menu with all of our various accounting years, managing years options, and we're going to cover everything through convert to non-calendar accounting year, and we'll talk about delete tomorrow, okay? So the first one that it talks about here is changing to another existing accounting year. Let me get rid of my arrow there. Get rid of that, and then we'll go back to Manage Years. So when we want to change to another existing accounting year, like I'm in 2020, January through December, it says right here in the right middle. If I want to go back and look at 19, I simply go back to change to a different accounting year. All of my prior accounting years exist in this menu, okay? So I would just choose 2019, click OK. I'm now changed my year back to 2019, okay? So if I want to go back into 2020, I just go to change to another existing accounting year, choose 2020, click OK. I'm now back in the current year. FYI, you do not need to change your accounting year in order to run accounting reports for a different year. Okay? Just look at your reports when you go to run your balance sheet or your treasurer's report. There's a menu in the upper left that says accounting year. So you can run the reports for any prior accounting year from, say, in this case, 2020. Okay? So the next thing we're going to talk about, we've got a very short amount of time, folks, here to cover all of this material, and so I'm going to kind of move through it fairly quickly here, okay? When you're ready to set up your next accounting year, you're going to go set up new accounting year, the second option in our menu, okay? So when we click on that, in our current version, the first question that pops up and asks us is, are you sure you want to set up your new accounting year? We're going to click yes on that, okay? So then it pops up with the menu that asks us here, we're on page 40 into 41 now, folks, that talks about, you know, it says create next accounting year, January through December 2021. Perfect. That's exactly what we're wanting. And we are going to copy our chart of accounts from January through December of 20, and we're going to copy our budget amounts. But if you don't want to copy your budget amounts, you simply uncheck that box, okay? Or if your things are really bad in your chart of accounts and you want to start over with 2021 and enter establishing essentially a line in time between 2020 and earlier and start off fresh and clean and enter a new chart of accounts for 2021, you would choose create an empty chart of accounts, okay? At which point then it would allow you to set up your account definition and what have you, okay? We're not going to go into that in detail. The assumption is 99% of you are going to copy your chart of accounts. I like to say I copy my budget amounts because they can always be changed, but if some of my 2021 budgets amounts have not changed from 2020, whatever percentage that may be, I've saved myself work. So, you know, if you uncheck copy budget amounts, you're going to have to rekey all the budget amounts in whether they've changed or not, okay? So even if you copy them, you can always change them or delete them. So we're going to click OK on that. So we now click OK. And it talks about creating the empty chart of accounts, setting up your new accounting year on pages 40 and 41, folks. Okay, so now we notice here our opening window now shows January through December 2021. So we have now opened 2021. Don't think of it as closing 2020. Think of it simply as opening the next accounting year, okay? I can now go in and enter my budget figures for the new year. I can rework my chart of accounts. I can delete unwanted accounts. There's all kinds of things I can do. I'm not going to post in it. I'm just opening the new year to prepare for it, so I'm not waiting and not behind the eight ball, basically, when I get to December 31st of 2020, and I'm now scrambling to open the new year, okay? You can open the new year anytime you want and still work between 2020 and 2021, okay? Just an FYI. All right, so our next topic here now is, and so now again, if I want to go back into 2020, I just go to Special Functions, Manage Years, change to another existing accounting year. There's 2020, and I now click OK, and I'm back in the prior year. Okay. Next topic on the list here under Manage Years is View Accounting Year Information. This kind of ties back to the change to another existing accounting year because the same information kind of appears in both. So if I go to View Accounting Year Information, it opens up and it says, hey, here are my start and end dates for my accounting years. Okay. Was the hard close function? So now we notice then that they're not. Okay. So now those years are, the year is now set up. Okay. But I can now view that accounting year information if I want to go back and look at any of the accounting year information. Okay. So now, again, it tells me anything I pretty much need to know. It tells me, what the beginning balances were finalized, who finalized the beginning balances. Well, they would have been brought forward from the prior year. But again, it's just informational in that case. Okay, so number 4 on our list here is updating beginning balances from prior accounting year ending balances. Folks, I can't stress the importance of this enough, okay? Now that we've opened 2021, when we get to working in 2021, if you prior year ending balances, you have to update the beginning balances for the new year anytime you make those changes. So if I go back to change to another existing accounting year, go back to 2021, I'm now ready. I'm working in 2021. I'm ready to update those balances. I go to Special Functions, Manage Years. I choose Update Beginning Balances from Prior Accounting Year Ending Balances. It says, yes, you want to update balances for January through December 2021 from January through December 20? Absolutely. Now we click Yes. Now my balance sheet totals, when it says they're updated successfully, now my balance sheet totals as of December 31st match my beginning balances for 2021. This is one of the most common support calls we get in January, February, and March of the new year, folks, okay? Why am I not reconciling for January of 2021 when I did for December of 2020? Most common reason is beginning balances were not updated one final time. You can run your balance sheet between the 2 years. They're a second apart. The ending balances for 1 year should match the beginning balance totals for the new year. If they don't, you need to update your beginning balances, okay? Updating beginning balances is on page 42. Well, as workbook page or topics are kind of in reverse order there. I'm going to have to tell my workbook person about that, okay? So let's move on here. So we go back up to Special Functions, Manage Years. Now we're talking about Recopy Chart of Accounts from Prior Accounting Year. Well, if I've made some significant changes to, say, my 2020 chart of accounts, and I haven't posted any transactions, okay, to the new year, I can ask the software to update recopy my chart of accounts from the prior year. We're going to click on that. So notice here, it's saying delete January through December 2021 and recopy from accounting year January through December 2020, okay? I can do that now because I've not posted any transactions in my new year. Okay, but once I post something that changes my audit history or sets that, this option goes away. Okay? So as soon as you post that first transaction in the new year, this is no longer an option. You'd have to restore a backup or something, okay, or re-enter the changes in the new year manually. Okay? Just an FYI, okay? What we also see here is the update January through December 2021 account details from January through December of 2020. Okay? Maybe you've entered new vendors and addresses and changes and things like that in your accounts in 2020, and you want to bring those forward into the 2021. That function of updating the account details from the prior year to the current year is available at any time. Okay? So again, as soon as you don't see update recopy chart of accounts, you will see the update account details. So again, if you change vendor information or addresses or just anything changes in terms of the chart of accounts, in terms of the detail, account names and things like that, it will allow you to bring those forward, updating the account details. Okay? So FYI. Okay, so the question I'm being asked is, why would you want to do this? Well, again, I open my new year. I've made significant changes in 2020, and I want to bring those forward into 2021 without having to re-enter those changes in the new year manually. The recopying the chart of accounts is a handy and easy way to do that. Good question. Okay. We've got about 5 minutes here, so we're going to go back and we're going to talk about our last couple of things here. So close accounting year. So this function, folks, it says here you will not be able to add more. I can't stress this warning enough. First of all, there's no requirement in accounting to use this function, folks. Church Windows accounting does not require that you hard close a year. It is simply an option that is available for our users to use should they absolutely need or want to do that, okay? As it says in red in the second sentence there, this step is not required as part of ending a year in accounting, okay? We also do not recommend that you close an accounting year until after an audit of that year has been completed, okay? I just tell you that, in my experience, I've been doing this a long time, folks, I typically get a call. I take a call in January from folks who basically have closed their accounting year for the prior year prematurely. They call me and they say, can I reopen it? And the simple answer to that, folks, is no. There's no way to reopen a closed accounting year once it's closed, okay? You can close an accounting year at any time. Whether that's now, January, February, March, June, September, or never. Okay, but you basically choose the accounting year from the menu. You click OK on that, and it'll say, are you sure you want to close the accounting year? And boom, that year is closed. You can still go back and run reports for that year, but you cannot make any changes, make any corrections, or anything to the chart of accounts. So if I go back here and I go, okay, I'm going to scroll down and choose, say, 2010, click OK. It says you will not be able to add change or counts or budgets or transactions. Are you sure you want to close the accounting year? Click yes. But now it says are you sure? So it's again a duplicate warning on that. Okay. Oh, I have read. Sorry, missed the checkbox there. Just through the box there, folks. Sorry, click yes. Now my 2021 year or 2010 year is closed. So if I now go back to change to another existing accounting year and I choose 2010, and we now click OK, notice it now says January through December, year closed year. Can run reports, just can't change anything. Okay? So now we're going to go back and we're going to change back to 2020. And then click OK. All right, with about 3 minutes left, our final topic here for the day is under special functions, manage years. Okay, let's change back to 2021. There's some interesting stuff there. All right, special functions, manage years. Convert to non-calendar accounting year. Okay, so if the church decides that they're currently, say, running a calendar year, January through December, and you want to change to a fiscal year, you can choose this convert to non-calendar accounting year option, which is listed here. So then once we choose that, it says the system will now switch to the most recent accounting year with transactions. A backup should be made. Again, these are just warnings. It's just saying if you want to do it while this screen is open, we've got exclusive access. So it tells us it's locking down the accounting tables. So now it's saying, what accounting year do we want to change to it? Okay. So now we can go, okay, I want to change to a, July 2020 to June 2021. If I click OK on that and click OK, it'll say the following years will be created, January 2020, June 2020, and then July 2020 to June 2021. So it'll run the shortened year in the prior year in this case, okay? But you're always going to run a shorter year. It's never going to run one that's longer than 12 months. So you're going to always have a short year in between, whatever you're near the end of your, your calendar year changeover and your fiscal year changeover, okay? So again, much of this stuff is detailed on pages 46 and 47. So once I do that, if I say July of 2020, and it'll say, are you sure you want to convert? You say yes. It's now doing it. Good. So now it shows my new year, okay? Just FYI, when you go to special functions, manage years, now notice it says convert to calendar accounting year. So as much as you can move to a fiscal profile in accounting, you can then also move back to a calendar year if the church or if the folks really, really, really want to do that, okay? So basically I would go, okay, choose this, a backup should be made, again, a warning, again, exclusive access. So again, it'll then pop up and say, what year do we want it? So we'll go back to January of 2021. So again, it'll say July 2020 to December 2020, again, a shortened year before it goes into the calendar full 12-month year. Then we click OK. Okay? All right, folks. We're at our 20-minute time frame. I want, in the interest of being respectful of your time, I want to make sure that we're not going long here if at all possible. Okay? We're hoping that you can rejoin us tomorrow for the remaining portion of the Delete Unused Accounts and Delete Accounting Years webinar. It, again, is a very important, but the topic is simply detailed enough. It in itself will probably take 15 minutes to cover those two things. There's a lot of things we can discuss or do with those. So that's where I'm going to wrap today's topic up.